Charles is not the pushover that the press seems to think he is and that they're trying to present him as being. He has not been taking his son's calls for some time now. He will not be exploited by his son.
Shocking new developments in the growing war behind the scenes in the British royal family over Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, Archie and Lily's return to the UK next month, with new reports that Prince William is fuming over the fact that King Charles is, in his view, bending over backwards for the duplicitous duo. This reporting in Vanity Fair overnight via Katie Nicholl, their royal editor, who says the UK visit next month is a source of deep frustration for Wills, and he's very annoyed about it. Prince William will not see Prince Harry and Meghan Markle when they return to the United Kingdom next month, Nicholl reports. While King Charles is said to be clearing his schedule to see grandchildren Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, whom he has not seen in 4 years, relations between his sons remain at an all-time low. According to recent reports, Charles has offered to provide the Duke and Duchess of Sussex with royal accommodations and to fund the family's security arrangements while they are in the UK. Now, sources close to William say the fact that the king is, quote, bending over backwards to facilitate Harry's trip to the UK has caused friction between Charles and his eldest son. While Palisades deny any fallout between Charles and William, it is understood that William has made his feelings about any reconciliation clear to his father. William is known to hold a grudge, and more than that, he cannot forgive his brother for what Harry has put his family through, one source tells Vanity Fair. According to a well-placed source, William believes his brother crossed a line in both his 2021 interview with Oprah Winfrey and his autobiography Spare, in which he shared, among other things, intimate details about his and Meghan's relationship with Kate Middleton, the Princess of Wales. Though Harry will be in the UK to promote the Invictus Games, which take place in Birmingham in July 2027, sources close to him and Meghan have confirmed, this is confirmation to Vanity Fair, that she and their 2 children will be travelling along with him. Harry will use the opportunity to introduce Archie, Lily, to both sides of his family. So this is interesting because it's bringing in the Spencers and Earl Spencer, who we know has shut down all thought for 2 days. Harry wants to bring the kids to see his family, not just the Windsors, but the Spencers too. He wants to spend time with the wider family. This has been on the cards for some time. Next year would have been the most obvious time when the Invictus Games takes place in Birmingham, but for whatever reason, it is happening this summer. Harry is, and has for some time, been very keen to have the kids come over to the UK. There's been a feeling of such sadness that he's not been able to bring them to the UK. Well, that was the situation he created, wasn't it? While Harry has told friends that he cannot wait to bring his family back, there will be no olive branch meeting with William and Kate. William won't be seeing his brother. I suspect he will make sure he's miles away when Harry visits to avoid any awkward encounters, a source says. Harry has tried to make contact repeatedly, but William won't take his calls. He is not minded to a reconciliation at all. And the fact that his father is bending over backwards to make Harry's visit happen has become the source of deep irritation for William. Sources close to William say he feels his father is making a mistake by welcoming Harry back into the fold. William is known to hold a grudge, whereas Charles wants peace, a family friend said. They come to the Harry situation from different perspectives. Charles is of the view that one must forgive and move on. William won't do that. Not yet. And maybe never. Lady Colin Campbell is with me now. Lady C, oh, you're looking absolutely glorious in this UK heatwave. I love it. Beautiful backdrop too. But Lady C, let's come to this breaking news. Firstly, can you blame William at all for constantly blanking Harry's calls? Because I can't. Like, why would he pick up? He made his position clear. Surely Harry just needs to take the message and stop stalking William on his phone. If you value the whole truth and nothing but the truth on these royal stories, make sure you subscribe to Outspoken right now. It allows me to work outside of the MSM and the Royal Rota.
Well, I think Williams made the absolutely correct decision. As I said within my own family when a member was treacherous, I said treachery is not an accident. It's a character flaw, and it behooves you to remember that. And William does. And I think, though, Dan, that some of this is slightly askew because I think the press are attributing motives and feelings to both Charles and William that actually are falling shy of the reality of the situation as I understand it to be.
So talk to me about what your understanding is, lady.
Well, Charles is not the pushover that the press seems to think he is and that they're trying to present him as being. He has not been taking his son's calls for some time now. He will not be exploited by his son. Also the claim that Charles is paying for Harry's security. It flies in the face of everything that Ravek and the government has ever said, which is that no individual in this country is permitted to pay for security. That includes the king. So how all of a sudden is Charles paying for Harry's security? He's not paying for Harry's security. Harry's security is being paid for under the standard arrangements that were in place when he left. He's given his month's notice. He has been assessed, the situation has been assessed, and the security bill is going to be picked up by the state. So where that's coming from, I would love to know. That's one of the inaccuracies that slightly disturb me. And the other one is that somehow Charles is embracing Harry. Charles is not embracing Harry. The situation is not quite as simplistic as the mainstream media would like to make it out to be. I get why they do it, because it's great copy, it's great content, it provides coverage, conflict, etc. But I think my understanding is that there's a lot more agreement between the king and William than that they are being given credit for. Of course, it plays well that there is a conflict, but there's a far less of a conflict. They are basically in agreement, which is that Harry needs to be blocked and contained. It's just that, do you block him totally, or do you allow him to have the latitude that he has already been granted, which was, because let's remember, Harry, when he left under the understanding that when he came back, if he gave a month's notice, he could be housed in one of the royal palaces, usually Buckingham Palace or St. James's Palace. None of that has changed. So I don't know where a lot of this is coming from. Well, I do know where it's coming from. But it's a rhetorical thing to say, I don't know where it's coming from. That's my take on it. Sorry. It doesn't agree with what other people are saying.
No. I think it's very interesting, Lady C. I mean, the first thing that's interesting, of course, is that if Charles is also not taking Harry's calls and William is also rejecting the calls, it does suggest that they remain united in some way on Harry. Because remember, I reported years and years ago that both William and Charles had agreed mutually that they would never be in a room on their own with Harry again, because they couldn't trust that he wouldn't take out of context what was said and perhaps make false allegations. So that's very good to hear that it's not just William who is rejecting Harry's phone calls, it's also Charles who is doing so. You're also, of course, completely right to point out that it's Harry who has massively capitulated here. Nothing has changed in terms of the security arrangements or the offer to stay at royal palaces. Those offers have existed previously. So Harry is the one who, in Tom Bower's words, is crawling back. All of that is accurate. I would argue, Lady C, the area, though, where there is a fault line is that William doesn't believe there is anything to be gained in terms of a face-to-face meeting. And for Charles, and I think emotionally you can appreciate, it's a slightly different situation. These are his grandchildren. He does have terminal cancer, although the treatment seems to be going well. And so he is minded to want to meet the children. And that does seem to be, I don't know if you agree with me, but that seems to be the fundamental difference in position between William and Charles. William does not believe there should be any meetings whatsoever, Lady C, because that provides a risk to the institution and the monarchy in the future, because William knows full well that Harry and Meghan will try and commercialise that meeting. Charles might still know that, but it's not going to change his mind because he believes he should have a relationship with his grandchildren.
And also, he is Harry's father, and he has to face his conscience and his maker, and he has to do what he considers to be the right thing. And let us remember, Charles's cancer treatment could work very well for the next 15 years, and it could stop working in 6 weeks. And he knows that that's the reality. There's no
Every moment is precious.
Well, yeah, there is no guarantee of an elongated lifespan. So he is aware of that. There is a sword of Damocles hanging over his head, and he's not stupid. He's aware of that, and but he is not allowing Harry to make hay while the sun shines and take advantage. And if he sees Harry, and if he sees the children, it's my understanding is it's going to be in very limited, constricted terms. In much the same way that at the last meeting, the one that was supposed to be 45 minutes and lasted 12 minutes, he arrived, he was kept waiting, he was ushered out. He then had no blue lights, so he was late for his next meeting. I don't remember where. So the same degree of restriction will apply if there is a meeting. And there is a lot of speculation as to whether there will be a meeting or not. And it's quite possible there won't be a meeting, but it's also equally possible that there will be a meeting.
But your point is, don't take a meeting as a suggestion that Charles has completely capitulated to Harry, because you're saying indeed he has not.
Absolutely hasn't. And basically, he and William are fighting the same corner. They're simply fighting it from slightly different perspectives. Their roles are different. Charles is a father. William is a brother. I mean, I actually think William is 110% right. But it doesn't alter the fact that I also understand where Charles is coming from. And if I were in Charles's position, I have to tell you, I would be pretty much doing the same thing. What will be interesting to see is whether Charles does as the late Queen did and refuses to have any photographs taken with those children, if indeed he meets them.
And certainly, Lady C, you would imagine at least he wouldn't, or you would hope at least he wouldn't agree to a photograph with Meghan. But first, quick gut check for the new year. Data leaks aren't rare, they're routine. When a major breach lands, it's millions of records in one blast. Phone numbers, home addresses, logins, sometimes much worse. And the nasty trick, that data gets traded indefinitely. Data brokers and people search sites buy and resell it on loop. So scammers, stalkers, even a nosy employer can surface far too much with a simple search. That's why I use Incogni. In a murky industry, it's the service independently verified by Deloitte. They send removal requests to hundreds of broker sites and private databases, chase the slow ones, and log confirmations as records are taken down. Getting started is simple. Create your account and share just enough to find your exposed profiles. Give Incogni one-time permission to act on your behalf. They launch the takedowns and keep following up so your data doesn't creep back online. The standout on the unlimited plan that I use is custom removals. Spot your details anywhere, so court portals, old company directories, people search results, that type of thing. Paste the exact link into your dashboard. Incogni's privacy specialists take it from there beyond the automated list. Unlimited links handled by real humans. It's low effort, it works, and it buys genuine peace of mind. They can't target you if they can't find you. So don't wait for the next breach. Go to incogni.com/outspoken now and get 60% off an annual plan. That's incogni.com/outspoken. Protect yourself, your loved ones, and your future. But now, back to the show.
Well, if he does, it's, it would be a grave error of judgment. But I see where Charles also has he agrees with some of his advisors that the best case scenario in the Harry and Meghan situation is, now that they have tried and failed, and there is really nothing else left for them to do except mend fences, because she's never going to make the billions she wanted to make. I mean, she might meet some stupid billionaire, but putting that aside,
Unlikely these days.
Well, there might be somebody who's an imbecile who inherited the money, or some nerd who's invented something and who is totally inept socially, which basically she's as well. So they would share that in common as well. But I mean, she's not in a position to do a Jackie. No billionaire is ever going to want her. No respectable man. She's not arm candy. She is an advertisement of toxicity. So no decent man is ever going to want her. So she has a strong incentive to stay with Harry. And that means that basically in the longer term, they are going to be a problem that needs to be managed. Now, Meghan has never been manageable. I came to write my book on them because people got in touch with me because they were having trouble managing Meghan. This was in 2019, I think, when she was still in the royal family, and she was trying to cut deals behind the scenes, and she was abusing people, and she was throwing her weight around, and Harry was backing her up and throwing his weight around on her behalf as well. And they thought if she had a shot across her bow, which said, basically, you need to start to understand that you have to have respect for this institution and you can't exploit it. I mean, you're not a whore in a convent setting yourself up as the chief madam. This is a convent and it's supposed to be pure. And so, if you're going to be whoring, please, you chose the wrong venue. And I mean, that was basically how I came to write the book. Well, of course, Meghan has proven to be unmanageable, but failure will make her more manageable, because Meghan was perfectly manageable up to a point when she was hooking and crooking her way up the social ladder. She knew exactly what to play and how to play it to present herself as something she wasn't. It's once she nabbed Harry and realized that Harry was in the bag that she gave up all pretense of being cooperative and decent and a nice person, and she just became the raw monster that she has revealed herself to be. But so maybe now that she has experienced failure and she's run out of options, she will realize that if she wants to survive, and believe me, Meghan is a great survivor. Meghan is all about money, position, power, and influence and attention. And if she has to change her game and she has no other choice, she will have to change it. And that's a factor that has been reckoned into the thinking of certain people in the royal circle. That ultimately, the best case scenario, if Harry and Meghan don't get divorced, isn't for her to continue hawking her wares. Oh, yes, we have flower sprinkles for sale, or maybe you should try my equivalent of Gwyneth Paltrow's pum pum juice. And,
Well, Lady C, this week, I had to ask you about the increasingly desperate PR activity around a brand which you, and I've stolen it, Lady C, because it's just perfect. Your nickname for this brand was never. And we saw the most was never promotional campaign so far. Watch this. I mean, Lady C, when is someone just gonna stay? Love, you're gonna have to wrap this up because it's all a bit embarrassing.
So fabulous. Oh, just look at me. Oh, I'm so fabulous. Oh, squeeze my tomato, please.
Well, let me read you out, Lady C, the cringeworthy words that we know she wrote herself with this ad. She described it as the art of summer grazing. And she said the best summer tables are often the simplest. A loaf of crusty bread, good cheese, fresh fruit from the market, something chilled to pour, a collection of little things guests can enjoy at their own pace. For a board that feels effortless yet abundant, we reach for raspberry spread alongside soft cheeses, which you don't sell, orange marmalade with aged cheddar, and our honey duo for a paired tasty with fruit, warm bread, or creamy. Packed everything into a basket or settle around a table in the shade and let the afternoon unfold. I mean, it's just a disaster.
It is a study in self-love, Dan. And let's remember, Meghan was in the early days very assertive about how self-love is where it's at. But also, it's so pretentious. I mean, Meghan is not a great hostess. She's never been known to be a great hostess. What party has she ever had that ever was acknowledged as a fabulous party? She's no Bestige, let's put it that way. And she's no Mary Ellen de Rothschild. She is no Lady Londonderry. She is just a pathetic, never was, who is trying to pretend as if she is something. And I mean, it's embarrassing. And also, again, she doesn't seem to understand. She doesn't have the right figure to have high-waisted trousers. And but she really thinks she looks good. She thinks she is she thinks she's being photographed by Stephen Meisel, who's the greatest living photographer. Not that he would ever photograph her, I hasten to add. But that's something else again. But she thinks she's being photographed by him for a town and country spread from 30 years ago. But I mean, she's presenting herself as the ideal of an aspirant's dream, but she's nobody's ideal. So the whole thing is doomed to failure. It's embarrassing. And also, when is she ever going to learn that nobody except herself is in love with her to the same extent that she is? And I gather that now that she's not quite blowing in the wind quite as much as she used to, Harry has turned off that Stan Getz record and is no longer quite as admiring of her as he used to be.
Lady C, I did want to ask you about this other royal story of the week. Air Mail's Andy is back, according to the Daily Mail. This is because he took this private jet to a French stud farm where he enjoyed fine wine and horse riding on the beach. Now, this is because of the luxury UAE-based horse breeding tycoon Mohammed A. Baker. Do you think he's done anything wrong here, Lady C, given that he is currently under investigation and there's a lot of pressure for him to just stay in Sandringham and not leave the house? Or is it totally his right to travel? And if he has rich friends who are prepared to pay for it, it's no one's business?
Well, Dan, Andrew has made himself very unpopular, partly also as a result of Sarah's conduct. And an awful lot has come out that is highly embarrassing. But the
Tensions inside the British royal family appear to be as intense as ever, with fresh reports suggesting that Prince William has absolutely no interest in rebuilding his relationship with Prince Harry. According to new claims circulating in the British media, William continues to ignore Harry's repeated attempts to contact him, while King Charles is said to be weighing his responsibilities as both a monarch and a father. The latest reports have reignited speculation over whether Harry's planned return to the United Kingdom with Meghan Markle, Prince Archie, and Princess Lilibet could become one of the most significant royal visits in years. While some insiders claim the king is prepared to make arrangements for the Sussex family during their stay, others insist that the reality behind palace walls is far more complicated than the headlines suggest. One thing that appears increasingly clear is that Prince William remains deeply hurt by everything that has happened over the past several years. From the explosive interview with Oprah Winfrey to Harry's memoir, Spare, many royal commentators believe William feels that private family matters were turned into public entertainment. For someone who has spent his entire life protecting the institution of the monarchy, those actions are said to have crossed a line that cannot easily be erased. According to reports, Harry has attempted to reach out on several occasions, hoping to reopen communication with his brother. However, William is believed to have ignored those efforts entirely. Sources claim he has no desire for a reconciliation at this stage and would rather avoid any interaction than risk reopening old wounds. The timing makes the situation even more interesting. Harry is expected to return to Britain ahead of preparations connected to the Invictus Games, and this visit may also provide an opportunity for Archie and Lilibet to spend time in the UK. It has been reported that Harry hopes to introduce his children not only to members of the royal family, but also to Princess Diana's relatives, including the Spencer family. That possibility has fueled intense media speculation. Some reports suggest King Charles wants the opportunity to finally spend meaningful time with grandchildren he has rarely seen in recent years. Others believe any meeting would be tightly controlled, carefully planned, and far from the emotional family reunion some newspapers are portraying. Royal commentator Lady Colin Campbell recently challenged much of the mainstream reporting surrounding these developments. In her view, the media has painted King Charles as someone bending over backwards to accommodate Harry, but she argues that description simply does not reflect reality. According to Lady Campbell, King Charles is far from being the weak or easily manipulated figure that some commentators describe. She believes Charles has actually been keeping Prince Harry at a distance for quite some time and has not been taking his son's phone calls either. If that assessment is accurate, it would suggest that William and Charles are far more united than many reports have indicated. Lady Campbell also questioned claims that the king is personally paying for Harry's security while he's in Britain. She pointed out that security arrangements involving senior members of the royal family are handled through official government procedures, not by individual members of the family writing personal checks. In her opinion, some of the reporting surrounding Harry's visit has blurred the distinction between official security arrangements and personal generosity. Her comments raise an important question. Are media outlets exaggerating tensions between Charles and William simply because conflict generates headlines? Many observers believe that is entirely possible. Stories describing disagreements between father and son inevitably attract attention, but the reality behind palace doors may be considerably less dramatic. Lady Campbell argues that while Charles and William may approach the Harry situation differently, their overall objective remains the same: protecting the monarchy while preventing further damage to the institution. She suggests the difference lies not in their goals, but in their roles. King Charles is dealing with the situation as a father. Despite everything that has happened, Harry is still his son. Charles also understands that his ongoing cancer treatment serves as a reminder that time cannot be taken for granted. While reports indicate that his treatment has been progressing positively, nobody can predict the future with certainty. That reality naturally influences how he approaches family relationships. Prince William, on the other hand, sees the situation through an entirely different lens. As Harry's older brother and the future king, William appears focused on protecting both his immediate family and the long-term stability of the monarchy. From his perspective, rebuilding trust may simply not be possible after years of public criticism and repeated disclosures about private conversations. If the reports are accurate, William believes